Hello everybody. We just created a mate in one threat on g2 and white defends it with the move knight f3. What should black do here, folks? That's my question, and while you're thinking about this position, I will introduce today's episode with a thought experiment. Let's assume for the moment that we can take one skill from Magnus Carlsen for a single move. And the question is this: which skill would you remove from Magnus Carlsen for a single move to increase your winning chances, to have any winning chances at all? What chess skill, which process would you like to remove from Carlsen's thinking to have some chances of beating him? And I think the answer is very obvious. It's the skill of seeing the opponent's threats. If Magnus weren't able to see your threat for a single move, if that process faltered for only a single move, then he could lose a game against you, right? Because chess is a very cruel game. A single slip can cost you any position. Magnus can be winning like +6 or 7. If he slips for a single moment, then he can lose that position, right? So that's the fundamental algorithm in chess. Whenever your opponent makes a move, we must always ask ourselves, what will be their next move if we don't make a move right now? Please don't forget about that question, folks. That's always the number one question. You see, it seems like white is only defending against our mate on g2, right? It seems like this move, knight f3, has only a defensive function. And that's exactly how you blunder. Because remember the algorithm? What will be their next move if I don't make a move right now? Can you see it, folks? Yes. As a result of knight f3, white has created this devastating threat of bishop takes h7 followed by queen takes d5. Going back, folks, right? We are the ones who are attacking. It looks like white is only reacting to our threat. In fact, white is generating an amazingly strong threat of bishop takes h7, and it's our responsibility to see this. If for a single moment you take the skill away from Magnus, if Magnus doesn't see your threat, then we could win games against Magnus Carlsen. So, having seen the threat, what is the best move for black? Yes, simply take the knight and enter this endgame is the best. Okay? We can pull, we can play for a slight advantage here with black. Nothing much, but that's still the best. Or you can say queen h5 is also okay, right? Because then we don't blunder our queen like this and we put pressure on that knight on f3, okay? In the actual game, after knight f3, my student just played this move, imagining that, oh, look at me, I'm now punishing you for your last move, I'm pinning your knight, right? He only tried to exploit the drawback of that move, but he forgot, right? He forgot about the most important question in chess, namely, what is the opponent's next move if I don't make a move right now? And he lost the game like that. This is such a fascinating example that I put this position in my recent Chessable course, My Opponent's Last Move, which will train you with this fundamental algorithm of always looking at the opponent's last move and the threats you're facing as a result of that move, regardless of what kind of a move it appears to be. Let's continue, folks. In this position, black just hit the white queen with bishop e6, and the queen retreated to h5. It looks like this queen h5 move is merely a retreat, right? Escape. They are escaping from our attack. And that's again exactly how the algorithm can falter. What is the threat you're facing? What's the most important question in chess that Magnus asks himself all the time after every single move without him knowing it? That's automatized process for Magnus, obviously. Yes, the threat is queen takes h7 mate, right? It looks like a passive retreating move. Oh, they are reacting to our move. In fact, they are creating a big threat, which you must see. In the actual game, black didn't pay attention to this. Black pushed the pawn to d4 and white just gave mate. Incredible, right? So in today's video, we will talk about the problems I witnessed as a coach of people not seeing the threats behind such escapes, or, as in the first position, defensive moves. right? The opponent's last move defends something, and you don't ask yourself which threat that move generates. Or the opponent just escapes against your attack, and you fail to recognize what's coming at you on the next move. I made the first video about this on YouTube. You can go and check that video, folks. It's titled, "It's When You Blunder." In that video, if you remember, I talked about people missing threats behind retreats or recaptures. If the opponent's last move was a retreat or recapture, people tend to miss the threat generated. And now we continue with defensive or escaping moves that you're missing the real points, okay? So, having seen the real threat, what should black do, folks? I think there are a couple of good-looking options. The first one is bishop g8, right? I cover h7. The second one is bishop h6, right? Our options are limited. We have to stop the mate, and we are fine. We are in the game. But it's black's responsibility to check for the threat. And if Magnus falters this step for a single move, well, you could mate Magnus, right? Imagine if you take the skill away from Magnus. Of course, you don't know exactly which move that will fail, but your bet will be on this skill of missing the threats, right? Because of the cost of a mistake is huge. Imagine that you generate one move threat, one move mating threat against Magnus, and at that moment, this process falters. Oh my god, his rating would drop significantly, right? Let's drill those examples today. I want to give you some instructive positions that I want to automatize this process for you folks. Here, black goes bishop g4 and white just escaped, right? The queen is escaping your attack by going to d3. What should be the fundamental question, folks? You tell me. Yes, the question is, what will be their move if I don't make a move right now? Can you see it? Yes, the threat is e5 followed by queen takes h7 once the knight moves. Right? So you're actually facing an enormous threat of e5, which would basically win the knight on f6 because the knight is tied down in defending against the mate. So this queen d3 looks like an innocent escaping move. In fact, that creates a devastating threat. Having seen this, folks, tell me, what should black do? You're a great player if you found the move bishop h5, preparing, anticipating the move e5. And after e5, you tell me, yes, bishop g6, neutralizing the battery. And after this, you can go knight e5, and the bishop is a great piece. You can trade on g6. We have a good knight on d5. Black is fine in this position. We don't lose material by force. In the actual game, you can imagine, after such a move, queen d3, black's fundamental process faltered because he didn't see this move as a threatening move at all. He played rook e8 in this position, and suddenly came e5, and the knight cannot move because of this, and black is lost. Now I will show you a position that combines a move that escapes, but also the move that defends. In this position, we were attacking the rook on d5, and also because the f7 pawn is also sensitive, black just went rook f5, right? This move is both an escape against our attack, but also this is purely a defensive looking move, correct? But what is the fundamental algorithm, folks? You tell me. What will be their next move if I don't make a move right now? Can you tell me what is black threatening right now? Yes, as a result of the rook having moved from d5, black now threatens the move d5, which creates a double threat, right? Can you see it, folks? Double threat on the bishop on c4, plus the bishop hits the rook on e7. In the actual game, as you can imagine, white just looked at this move and only perceived the bad things behind it, and then he pushed h4 to be able to stop the move g5, and suddenly black hit white with the move d5, and the game is simply over. Incredible. A single slip can cost you any position in chess, and a really beautiful example. This is where the devil lies, folks. I witnessed this kind of mistakes all the time as a chess coach, right, over the years, that people really misinterpret such defensive looking moves, and they don't really ask themselves this fundamental question of what threat they're facing right now. This never falters for Magnus. Oh my god, what a big player he would be if this process faltered even for a single move during a game. I will share with you a very painful memory from my own practice. I was playing with the black pieces here against a grandmaster. in a classical game. I played queen e1 check, and he obviously reacted to my move king c2, right? He's only reacting against my check. He's escaping from my check. Thus, I forgot to ask myself that fundamental question of which threat am I facing right now? Folks, first things first, I want you to identify the threat. Please stop the video here and tell me what will be White's next move if I don't make a move right now. What are the new options for White as a result of the move king c2? You're a great player if you noticed rook b1 as a real threat. Please visualize the move rook b1, folks. Rook b1 will hit the queen, thus remove the guard of the bishop of d2, right? So basically the queen moves and I'm losing a bishop in this position. So this move king c2 looks like a completely defensive move that reacts to my move. In fact, this devilishly created a big threat which I missed in the actual game. Now, you're even a much stronger player if you found the winning continuation for black, which I missed. Bishop takes e4 check, queen takes e4, queen c1 check, beautiful. If the king goes here, then we pick up the rook in 2 moves. Black is completely winning in this position. White has no meaningful check to follow, extra piece for black. And if the king goes here, then we mate on c3. I was in time trouble, I was excited, I missed this winning continuation, but the more fundamental thing is that I missed his threat. That's why I made a quiet move, knight d7, just improving that poor knight. And Grandmaster, in 5 seconds, he hit me with the move rook b1, and I was completely shocked. You can understand my misery, my depression. I lost my advantage. The position is still objectively a draw, by the way, but I lost my mind, and I lost in like few moves, basically. I blundered again. Incredibly painful memory. I still remember this position. I still feel that this position is giving me big pains, big traumas, but it's a great lesson, right? I ask myself, why did I miss this move, rook b1? Because, to my mind, that's an escaping move. He's reacting to my move. And the algorithm has faltered for me for this move. Please, guys, you can do better than me. Please, keep these things in mind. As a final position, I will give you a homework puzzle here. White is the one who's attacking. You can see there are so many threats like g5 followed by queen h7 mate, right? The black king is not safe. So black, to be able to defend some squares, there's also threats like bishop h6, of course. So black just made this defensive looking move, rook g8, okay? And imagine that you're playing with the white pieces. What is the right move here for white? More importantly, what is the most fundamental question you must always ask yourself whenever your opponent makes a move? Okay? Please follow the algorithm, folks, and you will get the right answer here. Are you facing a threat as a result of rook g8? This looks like a terribly passive move, right? He's only reacting to our ideas, attack. But there lies the devil in chess. That's when blunders happen, and that's something that Magnus Carlsen never misses. And please, folks, identify their threat and tell me a good-looking option for white, and tell me whether the most natural move in this position is a blunder or not for white. If you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe. That's very important for me, guys, to be able to pursue those lessons. I'm doing them genuinely to help you guys out there. I've seen these kind of mistakes so many times over the years, and I feel I'm discovering something like psychologically, right? People miss the threats behind defensive looking moves, retreats, escapes, recaptures. But no matter what kind of a move it looks like for the opponent, we have to always follow the most important algorithm in chess of asking yourself the question, what is the threat you're facing right now as a result of the opponent's last move? And if this process fails for Magnus Carlsen, even for a single move, even I have a chance of beating him in an actual game. If you want to explore more these subjects, guys, I made a Chessable course about this recently. It's called My Opponent's Last Move. You will drill those examples to automatize this process. You'll raise your floor. You won't give up games like this. You won't lose games like this. And finally, please give me feedback and also your answers on this homework position. And I will catch you on the very next episode, folks, on more lessons about chess improvement to help you improve your game. Bye-bye.